Okay, I'm still here at ARNFEST 2017 in Union, Illinois, and I'm standing here with Palmer, and he's from
Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth, Texas, and I can't pronounce your name.
Moynihan is the last name. Palmer is my first name.
Okay, and Palmer has built several of these belt sanders, and he's going to demonstrate it now. And this was primarily a sander for general purpose
metal or wood.
Metal or wood.
Sometimes knife makers use them a lot, but I'm not a knife maker, and I still like them. It's right over here to our right, and the machine will run from anything from about 0 to 5,000 surface feet per minute. Now it's running at 5,000 feet per minute. And I've got a piece of metal here that I'll grind. So we just rounded over that square corner very quickly and very easily. Leaves a very nice finish afterwards. This machine will also run backwards just as well as it runs forwards. Sometimes you want the belt going away from you, and it'll run backwards as well.
And he's got a variable frequency drive down here,
yes,
so he's getting that
BFD.
variable speed in forward or reverse, and it's again a 3-phase motor that allows him to do that.
And with the thing running or not running, you can take the machine and lay it over and it becomes a horizontal machine. This geometry was inspired by Jeremy Schmidt. He's a YouTuber that created his own band sander, and I was so inspired by it that I decided to build one myself. And I made this drive pulley I made myself because it has a tapered bushing in it that really holds it securely and very concentric. I bought these 3 wheels because it's easier to buy them and very cheap, very economical.
So am I. And you can see it's well guarded.
The split tapered H bushing simply has a taper made by Browning, and all you have to do is match that taper with the drive wheel, and then it pulls right up on it, grips the shaft, has a keyway, and will spin for years and years and years and never wear out. Much better than a set screw in the pulley.
Now there's a crown on here.
Yes, there is.
About 2 degrees?
That's right. 2 degrees crown.
Okay.
In both the drive wheel and this wheel. And then this is flat out front.
The machine is so quiet that it's almost dangerous because you might run your finger into it thinking it's not running. What do you got there, Palmer?
This is an old junk caster wheel that I knocked the old low-speed bearing out of, put some high-speed ball bearings in it on my South Bend 9-inch metal lathe. Then I pressed in new bearings and made a grinder setup that would grind that flat. Before, it had kind of little mold markings on the wheel, and so I needed it to be flat so that it would go around and around and be a good contact wheel. These can cost a lot of money on eBay or something, in the hundreds of dollars, but I made this one for $2. Other kinds of tables can be made and fashioned. The particular one that I have on here is one that can also be used as a grinding for drill bits. You just come up here, put your drill bit in, and then you can grind back and forth, flip the bit over, grind it again, and you've got a sharp drill bit. I would use something less gritty than 36 grit.
I would think so, yeah.
Yes. But anyway, it's handy, ready to go right there. I know that Lyle Peterson would probably throw this away in the trash can. I've seen him do it before.
Palmer's a comedian.
I have a tracking mechanism up here that allows the wheel to track perfectly, and also it has an articulation this way. That's the part that makes it where it can go backwards as well as forwards.
Are you an engineer, Palmer?
I'm a television engineer.
All right.
And 3 horsepower motor. As you saw when I changed the belt, we had we can pull the spring down. It's a torsion spring back here. We arm it, and then we can change the belt any way we want to. The light doesn't get in the way too badly. And then we put the belt back on. We pull this down, it releases the trigger, and up she goes. And Bob's your uncle, as they say.
Okay, Palmer, go ahead and start. Palmer's going to demonstrate how to change the belt on this machine, which is a 2-inch by
72.
By 72. And he's going to put a real coarse one on there. I believe it's a number 36. So you can see that it doesn't take long to change the belt.
The old belt comes off, the new belt goes on.
And that belt is not directional, is it, with an arrow on it?
No, it isn't.
Yeah. That's a 3-phase motor.
And with the new belt, well, we'll need to arm the thing so we have tension on it.
It's done that fast?
Yep, we're done. And now we have a brand new 36 grip. This is our plywood torture test area.
Okay, what do you got here now,
This
Palmer?
is a prototype that actually built the other 4 machines that came after this one. This one was the one that had to just be literally handmade. It also tilts over. That's where I got the geometry down pat that Jeremy Schmidt had given me off of his YouTube video. And it does exactly the same thing. It locks into place, and then when you want to release it, it goes up and arms the belt. That way you're not fighting that belt tension.
Did Jeremy have plans?
Jeremy's a real smart guy, and I had the plans on order, and I had the prototype done before he had the plans out.
Okay.
But I did end up going ahead and buying the plans from him because of he really helped with the inspiration of it all.
And you built 3 of them?
Built 4 of them after this one.
All right, 4 after this.
Yeah. But it tilts over just the same way and has the same torsion spring, and yeah. Palmer Manufacturing is just something I made up. The legal people won't be able to find out who Palmer Manufacturing is, but
pretty generic.
I had it for fun. This piece right here is a really neat little gauge that you can do radiuses with. It simply sits in here, you pull it out, this comes down and stops you at a certain radius, and it will grind a radius on an end of a piece of metal quicker than the mill could do it, or anything else for that matter.
Well, this is an amazing machine, Palmer, and I thank you for showing it to me and to YouTube out there. If you have any interest in that, did you have an email address or anything? Are you interested?
Yeah, just call Palmer Moynihan, M-O-Y-N-I-H-A-N, and that is at gmail.com.
All right, thank you, Palmer, and we got to get out of this sun. It's pretty hot.
Thank you very much. Say hello to Jimmy DeResca for me.
Hi, Jimmy. It's the next day, and I'm back home, and Palmer has followed me home with his trailer on his way to San Antonio, Texas, and he has graciously offered to loan me that wonderful abrasive machine for a period of 1 year. However, upon getting it home here in my garage, it dawned on both of us that I do not have 220-volt power here. So it was going to set right there against the wall, but now we have gone to plan B, and that is it's going in the basement where I have 220-volt, and you see this has a VFD with it, so 220 is required with this. Is that a 3-horse, Palmer?
Yes.
So Palmer is taking it apart because it is too heavy to handle, but what is really the heavy part is that circular base, which is that 1 inch thick?
1.25 inches.
It's 1.25 inches thick, and it looks like it's about 24 diameter, so it's a very stable but very heavy. So taking up
160 pounds.
how much?
160.
160, the man from Texas said. The tall man from Texas. San Antone. So, so it's coming apart here, and does the motor have to come off?
No, but it'll just be easier.
Yeah, okay, so he's taking the motor off, and then
It's so
gonna
easy.
enlist the help of my
I'll
nephew.
get you to undo these last as I hold.
All right, I need the help here. I got to put the camera down. The unit is disassembled, and Palmer's already in the basement with the working part, but it's a rather heavy 3-horse motor, and there's all the controls, so it's a 2-man job to haul down there so we don't damage this expensive unit here. And my son-in-law is coming over to help move this, which we'll put on a 2-wheel cart. It's never easy, is it? And I guess I forgot to mention that we have all of these other accessories and parts to take down as well.
Trying to work it a little to the right. Now let's just try it.
All right,
One step down.
let's do it.
You've got it, Hope?
I got it.
Here we go. We were under control. You ready?
Ready?
Okay. Going. Great. Let's rest.
Yeah, take a rest. Well, the worst is now over. And Palmer's sweating like a bull. My son-in-law is cool as a cucumber. Palmer was doing all the work,
Your
I'm afraid.
son-in-law.
Yeah.
We got it pretty well assembled, and Palmer suggested, and a good suggestion it is, or was, to mount the VFD up high away from, what did you call it? The
The
mud?
mud, the blood, and the beer.
Yeah,
Not that there'll be any beer down here.
which I will just say we're getting it away from the swarf.
Yeah, there you go.
Because those are expensive little babies and are often well installed inside of some enclosure. Well, she's crooked as a dog's hind leg, Palmer, but maybe we don't care.
Is it crooked? Oh, I don't have to have it crooked.
Okay, Palmer was a perfectionist. He had to take it off and use a stare square so that it was on there just right. But you can see why we got it mounted nice and close to the 220 volt outlet. And
So
the Rockwell drill press moved off into storage for a year. So it's pretty well assembled now, and Palmer's doing the finishing touches here. Gonna attach a belt so she's ready to rip. And away she goes, as Jackie Gleason would say, and that's the tracker for that wheel. I like that slow speed.
well, that way we don't have to have it run off into the ditch.
And you're doing all the controlling from here.
Yeah, the VFD's up there, and all we're indicating up there is 18.35 cycles per second. It has nothing to do with feet per minute. Well, it does have something to do with it. It has to do with the RPM of the motor. I have that programmed to where the maximum speed will be 87 cycles per second. 87. And that means 5,000 feet per minute. Linear feet per minute, which is what really matters.
Yeah, that's really moving.
And you can use it at any speed.
And now a spark shield.
This little notch goes in under the thumb nut, and this thumb nut, which is bored right down the axle, I thought, where am I going to mount that? Oh, I'll thread a hole in the axle.
Now that will prevent the sparks from following the belt around and hitting you in the face.
Exactly.
Yes, so this
The
is
ones
pretty,
that would normally hit you right here and up in the eyes and stuff are greatly diminished. Doesn't mean that the occasional spare stray can't get in, but more often than not.
Yeah, a face shield is mandatory anyway, and I will put Palmer some kind of shield here so we don't get sparks on the lathe bed, because I know somebody's going to be worried about that.
Yeah.
Not sparks, I mean grit and swarf.
Now, this here is one table, and I'd like to know what your favorite table, or what you think. You may want to build some other new tables, actually, and that's where the fun really is building these tables and different accessories. This one also can be used as a drill bit sharpener. However, I'm going to take that with me because I think you'd probably throw it in the trash.
That's a rather harsh indictment, Palmer.
Well...
So even though Palmer is stripping the machine, I do have one of these that came in a bucket, so if I decide to use it, I have been critical of this particular brand, but I'm a man that is willing to try it again.
I can't get that. I got that.
And Palmer's sweating like a bull, but you know, down in Texas, it's a lot hotter, I think, than what it is here.
I'm used to sweating, that's for sure.
And he used a half a roll of paper towels already, wiping his brow.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have a big enough with...
I wanted to photograph the construction of this and hold it in several different angles.
This little groove here makes it track smoothly, straight in, straight out. I machined a little groove so it can go in and out on that.
Good.
And then that also gives it the adjustment that you need for fine-tuning this off of the grinding surface. And a 3/4 inch hole. I reamed 3/4 inch, and so it's quite accurate 3/4 inch hole. Although this is not hot, it's a cold rolled material and semi-accurate.
Yeah, right. All right, Palmer gave me a little lesson on changing a belt and tilting it, and I did all that, so I think I've got it mastered. And I have this on loan now for approximately 1 year, or the next time Palmer comes up north. So I thank you, Palmer, ever so much for this.
Thank you, and
this
have a
loan.
great time with this machine. I hope it'll give you good service.
I'm sure it will, and I'll probably use the old Kalamazoo there less during this time, as well as the Rockwell 6-inch, which are also two of my favorites, but this looks to be like quite a machine. So thank you, Palmer, and I'll see you next year.